Hi and welcome to Facebook Application Development Part 2. Today we will be using PHP to parse through XML and JSON responses. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it is a lightweight data interchange format that is very easy to read and write. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. XML is much like HTML, but it was designed to work like a database and return data in a descriptive manner. That said, let's look at a couple of websites that will help you in case you need to brush up on your JSON and XML skills. First is W3 Schools. This is a basic introduction to XML, and it is worth reading if you've never used it. Second is JSON.org, and this website will give you an overview of JSON, which is also worth reading. In addition to those two websites, there is the PHP JSON Decode and the Simple XML parts of the manual that will give you anything you need to know about the tutorials today. Now let's focus on PHP to parse both kinds of responses. I'm currently using a PHP higher than 5.2, and I would also recommend that you use a similar version or the latest version of PHP. PHP JSON is currently integrated into the version 5.2 and higher. If you want to know more about the different libraries for parsing JSON, you can visit this website, which has a comparison of JSON libraries and their efficiencies, and I'll post that link on my blog. If you want to know about XML libraries, then you can search through the PHP manual, and PHP offers plenty of XML parsing libraries. I'm going to move to the Facebook API Tools page now, and we're going to generate a JSON and XML response using the Facebook API. I'm going to pull down the response format here, and let's pick JSON. Next, I'm going to put on the method of the API, events.get, and I'm going to give it the criteria myUserID. Now, if we hit call method, it's going to return to us the data in the JSON format, which is basically one long string. Now, if I do the same thing, pulling down the response format to XML, and I hit call method, it's going to return to us the data in the XML format. And here you can see the same exact data in a different format. I've created two files, one called response.xml with the XML data from the response we just generated, and one called response.json, which has the JSON data in it. And here they are. You can see response.xml, which will actually show you the XML rendered by the browser, and the response.json, which is the very long string. So now let's move to Dreamweaver to analyze the files. Here's my response.xml file. Here's my response.json file. Here's the PHP scripts associated with the files. This one parses the JSON, and this one parses the XML. And I'm going to post the source code for these on my blog, and it has comments in it if you need to know exactly what the code is doing. Okay, now let's check out the results of both the PHP scripts. Here's the JSON response, and you can see the file size and the response length, which are both in kilobytes. One is 10.7 and the other is 10.7 as well. And both should be the same because they're basically just character counts. I was just showing you two different ways of getting the value in the code. Now that we've gotten our JSON response and returned it as an associative array, you can see that it shows us the variable name and the values associated with it. So you see EID, name, event type, start time, creator, etc. And this actually returns to you certain values of the actual events that I am associated with. Now let's take a look at the XML response, which is pretty much the same thing. You can see the same variable names, the same values, and the only difference is the file size. You'll see 12.2 kilobytes. This amount of data might seem a little minute, but the larger the data sets get, the gap in this value will increase. Using JSON can significantly reduce your overhead. So, I mean, in this particular case, it was 10.7K versus 12.2K, and we got the same exact data from each response. So some advantages of JSON are that it is easy to read and write. It's smaller in size and it can be converted into a JavaScript object easily. Some disadvantages are that it's a little harder to search through for specific data, and some languages have little or no support for it. Some advantages of XML are that there are more XML parsing libraries out there than you will ever use. It's very easy to search and extract data from it, and there are more resources on the web to help you use it. Some disadvantages are that the output is bigger and creates more overhead, and it can get complicated if you start using XML style sheets and other aspects of XML. If you don't keep it simple, then it can get kind of complicated. This concludes our tutorials. I will be posting the links to the source code for this and the response files and everything. Thanks for listening.